Parliament debate use of COVID-19 vaccines. Kandep MP call for update on JSB meeting. And case on missing Manam Funds adjourned.
This is National EMTV News with Helen Seah.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for Wednesday's news. In Parliament today, Prime Minister James Marape has reaffirmed his statement that the Bougainville issue of independence is important. The Prime Minister was replying to Kandep MP Don Pollier, who wanted an update of the recently concluded JSB meeting in Enga province.
The member for Kandep, Don Pollier, during Parliament question time, asked about the outcome of the recently concluded joint supervisory body meeting between the PNG government and the ABG in Enga province. Pollier adding that Parliament must always be updated on the issue.
What has been the outcome of the Bougainville we have had in Warbeck very recently? It's very important that the Parliament continues to understand the proceedings that come out of such meetings, so we are guided. The Parliament guides through the executive government to arriving at that particular conclusion in a very amicable manner.
Prime Minister James Marape explained that the national government and the ABG are working on a roadmap towards 2027 for a final political settlement.
Their result in as far as Bougainville's autonomous government and President Toroma said their result by 2027 must be political independence. We put by 2027, we will determine the political future of Bougainville. There are two different words and meanings.
Marape added that a constitutional amendment needs to be done before a ratification of the referendum results. But Marape also mentioned that Bougainville was made an exception for this process, and other provinces should not follow suit.
No individual citizen in our country can take extreme independent. It must come through a constitutional process, where it's supposed, through a constitutional amendment, we affirm result belong vote na like Bougainville na parliament itoga mo right, all vote finish, so I made him constitutional go. But me make him clear talk. We must secure him rest of our country past them. We must make him absolute clarity that this was only exceptional circumstance to Bougainville and Bougainville. Rest of our country must not advocate. You can talk about autonomy functionally, but you must not talk about autonomy and associate with independence.
Marape added that the national government is committed to supporting the autonomous Bougainville government.
We're revisiting all the commitments we've made with Bougainville. Outstanding commitments we're starting to honor all of them now. And on our own government, we've made 100 million commitment to Bougainville every year starting 2020. And we've given this money starting 2020 into 2029. Independence or not, Bougainville is our responsibility.
Frelis Sukina, National EMTV News.
The drafting of a legal agreement between national government and Twinza Oil is far from reaching a conclusion on the Pasca A gas project. This morning, Parliament spent some time debating the proposed legal agreement.
The discussions originated from a media statement released by Twinza Oil PNG Limited, dated 9th of August. A statement that expressed concerns and disappointments that the PNG government had failed to honor terms in the Pasca A gas project, and the proposed time to have the legal agreement signed lapsed on July 29th. The initial question raised by Gulf Governor Chris Iveta emphasized the delay in signing the gas agreement between the developer, the state, and the provincial government.
This is company and one kind company. Now, and one bell one time you set him this dates or no got. Now agreement is ready or no got. Now look me also. Emi walking negotiations one time you. Long media. Now implications, long statements, long Emi down him investor confidence. The Nalpa investors, emi talk government, blow you me. You not true, you not talk true, and you mean only no can trust in law, working investment. These are implications of statement, serious, Mr. Speaker.
Located 95 kilometers offshore the Gulf of Papua, at a water depth of 93 meters, the total project cost is estimated at $2.4 billion. On July 13, the national government, led by Petroleum Minister Karen Gakua, was proud of securing a state take of 55% of the gross project income.
We have come to this point where we've delivered an agreement in the petroleum space, and also NUPLA precedent out of the existing projects you got. It's a new precedent. And that's not to say that this is the final benchmark. That's work in progress.
Now, 28 days later, and Minister Kua apologizes on the floor of Parliament for not having the agreement signed as announced last month. Kua says the dates proposed for the gas agreement signing was based on advice from the negotiation table.
Friday, this draft agreement, MIPLA giving me twinja team. So, MIPLA been expecting, Mr. Speaker, all by sitting down, look good, this agreement, all by campaign, state negotiating team. Now by talk, this MIPLA agree, this MIPLA no agree, now you mean need to look. Again, remember, most of these are details that are ancillary to the core agreement about state take. That part, no dispute. But when it comes to those details, Friday, only kiss him. First thing, you'll walk him, which I think is currently passing. All go straight to media.
Following the release of the media statement by Twinza Oil, a new date has been announced for the third time for the gas agreement signing, and the new date is 6 days from now. Taklagunga, National MTV News.
And to other news, wet crossing of the Tuman River by the Kuli and Rakaldi people of Anglim South Wagi would be a thing of the past with the construction of a new 44-meter bridge in the area. People cried with tears of joy as the contractor brought in Bailey Bridges. Anglim South Wagi MP Joe Kuli was also present to witness the occasion.
It was a joyous moment for the locals to have a bridge connecting to services on the other side of the river. Children who live on one side of the Tuman River make it their daily routine to cross a flowing stream every morning to go to school and again in the afternoon to return home. Local MP Joe Kuli says his people deserved basic services which have been lacking for more than 2 decades. The 44-meter Bailey Bridge was imported from England and is said to withstand strong currents during flooding. It will be connected to the old bridge, which was washed away by floods in 2006. The former Anglim South Wagi MP, Kuli, the current MP's late father, built the old bridge. There are also other Million Kina projects that are running concurrently in the same area. The 8th Million Kina road construction and the 1.2 million Kina rural electrification project, including the 4.5 million Kina bridge. Kuli encouraged the locals to look after the impact projects, which will transform their standard of living.
I think now I'm good now. Or to one by road long yet, no road long now man by got the freedom long. You let the walk about down.
A local renowned contractor, Sweds Ramat Construction, will build a bridge within 5 weeks. They are well known in Jiwaka and Western Highlands province for building durable bridges and on time.
So you talk walking bridge and by September 16.
Meanwhile, Kuli said he has fulfilled his 6 policies to deliver roads and infrastructure services, maintain law and order, support health and education, and church programs. He said he will continue to deliver impact projects in the remaining months before the 2022 national elections begin. Vasanatha Yama, National MTV News, Mount Hagen.
You're watching National MTV News. We'll be back with more stories after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. East New Britain Province becomes the fourth province to sign a Memorandum of Understanding with the Centre for Excellence in Financial Inclusion. The MOU was signed by Bank of PNG Deputy Governor Ellison Piddick and East New Britain Governor Nakikus Konga. The MOU will promote the integration of financial inclusion for the provincial administration planning and implementation processes, and also builds capacity to implement important financial inclusion activities.
East New Britain Governor Nakikus Konga said the signing marked an important milestone as it will pave way for financial inclusion activities in the province. Konga believes this will grow and support East New Britain's provincial economy. Governor Konga says this is a new start to spend wisely.
There are a lot of people here, they earn so much money, but at the end of each year, they go zero balance in their pockets. These things will not eventuate when we are recklessly spending our money.
The activities will include integrating the PNG financial inclusion strategy in the provincial government's planning and budgeting process to expand banking and financial services network. This will also see increase in formal banking accounts for people, businesses and other development training and digitizing provincial government payments. These are significant steps to support levels of government in East New Britain.
It is important for us as a province to engage with the financial companies or the banks to at least have an agency. And you would know that the government under the leadership of our Honourable Governor established some minimum standards.
The SAFI Executive Director says provincial governments play an important role as they are close to people and can drive financial inclusion message strongly. The MOU is an outcome of the provincial rollout project under the National Financial Inclusion Strategy to reach levels of government and promote quality financial services that are convenient and user-friendly.
Where we thought we want to look at the situation and then decide what we wanted to do. And we then came up with the second strategy, which basically ended in 2020, and now we are in the process of developing the third strategy for Papua New Guinea.
Jack Lapava Jr., National MTV News.
The Madang District Court has adjourned the case relating to the misappropriation of 6 million Kina Manam Funds. 2 more suspects faced the court after being arrested and charged for their alleged involvement, while the district magistrate was arrested and charged for perverting the course of justice. The magistrate made a decision not to endorse a search warrant obtained by the members of the investigation task force, stating that it would be a conflict of interest if he endorsed it.
The court has adjourned the matter to the first week of September to allow police investigators to prepare court files to be presented to the court.
This is the first appearance. The court is adjourned, and what is basically going to happen is the investigators will prepare the court files.
The 6 million Kina Manam Funds is money belonging to the Manam Restoration Authority given by the national government to resettle displaced Manam Highlanders living in the care centers. The money is a tied grant transacted through to Ramu Development Foundation Limited and was misused. In the first phase, 9 suspects implicated were arrested, while the 3 recently arrested were in the second phase. 5 more suspects who were implicated will be arrested and charged in the third phase of the investigation. Apart from the magistrate, the charges of the 2 suspects recently arrested ranged from theft to money laundering. The district court has extended their bail application. Martha Lewis, National MTV News, Madang.
Meanwhile, a senior lawyer in Medang was arrested and charged by police this afternoon in relation to the investigation of the missing Manam Funds. Lawyer William Akwani was charged for perverting the course of justice when he obtained a court order to stop police from proceeding with a search warrant. His lawyer spoke to Martha Louise outside the courthouse.
At 2 p.m., the members of the investigation task force team in Medang took senior lawyer William Akuana to the Jomba police station, where he was formally arrested and charged.
The police are just doing their job, so they're doing what is empowered under the Constitution. We respect that, the process. The allegation in respect of our magistrate, our good magistrate here, Mr. Frederick Humphrey, was arrested. The same allegations in respect with Mr. Akuani. Mr. Akuani is one of our senior lawyers here in town.
A lawyer representing Mr. Akuana, Bradley Wack from Bradley and Company Lawyers, says the 63-year-old from Bogia was charged allegedly for perverting the course of justice.
He's been arrested now for allegation of perverting the course of justice, conspiring to pervert the course of justice. We understand, we do appreciate the police doing their job. We'll see them in court. Thank you.
Mr. Akuana is out on a 2,000 Kina police bail and will appear in court on Monday. Today's arrest brings the number of arrests to 13, following the ongoing investigations in Medang in relation to the misuse of 6 million Kina of Manam Funds. According to the Assistant Commissioner of Police for Northern Command, Peter Guinness, more arrest is expected in the coming weeks. Martha Louise, National EMTV News, Medang.
Lay's Metropolitan Police Commander Chief Superintendent Chris Kunyanban said the increase of settlements in Lay has led to the increase in crime in the city. His statement follows an ethnic clash between two groups of people living along Lay's Chinatown and Malahang area. Julie Badui Oa reports from Lay.
Lay Metsup Chief Superintendent Chris Kunyanban said the increase of settlements in Lay has led to the increase of unemployment in the city, causing people to look for means and ways to survive. Kunyanban says while most survive on markets and small businesses, others tend to engage in illegal activities to sustain their livelihoods. He said this morning that the increase in the illegal settlements is having an impact on policing in the city due to limited manpower and resources.
Increase of people in the different outskirts of the city now is causing a lot of problem with us. Unfortunately, it's gone beyond. There are certain authorities involved in those issues of illegal settlements. I will not go into it. I respect they stand on what they do and the jurisdiction, but I'm just saying how it is having impact on the policing. The number of people that we have in the city is so huge now, illegal settlements, and people also squatting on customary land as well.
Over the past 5 years, a number of illegal settlements have been formed, some of them occupying state land. According to Lay Metsup, the escalation of crimes and social issues in the city seems to be the result of these illegal settlements.
At the back road, it comes under 10 City and Malang. But if you look at the number of people that they police is so huge. 10 City covers 10 City settlement, all the circles, and then Bumayong, Igame as well, coming down as far as Unigate, and it goes back. If you look at the landmass and the number of people, it's quite big, and they have only one car, and in 10 City they have 7 policing members. And you have 1 or 2 on off duties, and because we maintain the stations on 7 days a week, 24/7, on a 12 hours basis. So most of the time we get people off.
In 2018, Lay Metsup, then Anthony Wagambi Jr., raised the same concern on illegal settlements popping up in Lay that contributed to the increase in petty crimes, harassment and street vending. Chief Superintendent Chris Kunyanban called on authorities in Lay to work together with the police and address the issues of illegal settlements in the city. Julie Badui Oa, National EMTV News, Lay.
A United Church mini-synod held in Goroka last week saw reconciliation between former University of Goroka Vice-Chancellor Dr. Gairo Onagi and current university leaders. Bishop of the United Church Urban Region, Reverend Jacob Harry, highlighted this when giving a report of the meeting earlier this week. Dr. Onagi was forced out of office some years ago during an impasse at UOG. He was then engaged by the United Church in Rabaul to help in the church's vision of establishing a university. A formal reconciliation gathering is being planned for next month for the parties involved. The United Church Urban Region also launched its 5-year strategic plan, which calls for innovative and sound reforms for the church. Over 50 clergy and lay leaders spent a week at Melanesian Institute, hosted by the Eastern Highlands Circuit. The next biennial mini-synod will be hosted by Poreporena Circuit in NCD in 2023. Education is a government key priority, and the development of a country is seen when its human resources are being educated or skilled. 209 students from the Kumul Training Institute graduated with certificates in business and other TVET courses today. Speaking at graduation ceremony, Director Max Corey said the institute provides learning required by the higher education, research, science and technology.
To change the face of a country, we need skilled human resource. Over 200 students graduated with certificates in business and other technical courses during the 43rd graduation ceremony of Kumul Training Institute early this week. Director for Kumul Training Institute, Max Curry, in his opening remarks said, education is a need for a country to develop.
With education, you can change your life and make meaningful in today's modern world. Without the education, training at the TVET level or education level.
Representing NCD Governor at the graduation was his executive officer, Dr. Newton Albert. Albert stated that a lot of young people are disadvantaged, considering the less number of spaces in tertiary institutions, which is where TVET comes into play.
And that's why our governor and our minister and the local members continue to support this TVET program, because as Rose had correctly alluded to, our education structure is sort of a pyramid kind of a structure where we have all the school leavers there, but less opportunities in the tertiary institutions. So TVET comes into play to fill in that gap. So it gives some opportunity.
The graduates now have the opportunity to secure a job or further their studies. Amanda Ilaitia, National EMTV News.
And now looking at the NAS Funds market report, the Kina closed unchanged at $0.2850 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your Kina will buy $0.2775 $0.3733 Australian dollars, $0.2287 euro and 30.06 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold is trading higher, coffee and cocoa closed higher, and copra closed lower. Palm oil and copper closed lower, crude oil is trading higher. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed at 106.66 points higher. The ASX 200 is trading at 21.69 points higher, and the All Ordinaries is trading at 24.72 points higher. You're watching National EMTV News. We'll be back with more stories after these messages. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the news. Skilled and certified tradesmen in the PNGDF's engineering battalion is lacking. That's according to Commander Lieutenant Colonel John Wani. But this can be addressed by engaging more soldiers in projects that will allow them to develop trade skills and go on to be certified. Yesterday, the battalion opened one of these projects, a 30-man dormitory which will be used to accommodate soldiers engaged with the unit.
This temporary dormitory at the PNGDF's Igam Barracks was built to accommodate soldiers who will be engaged with the Engineer Battalion for training. Initially built to house 30 soldiers, the inclusion of the bunk beds will cater for 60. The Engineer Battalion Commander, Lieutenant Colonel John Wani, said with a shortfall in skilled and certified tradesmen, the project was an avenue to train and skill soldiers who will go on to be certified.
We are encouraging more of that because that's where the boys will go do hands-on. Most of the time it's hands-on. So once they are confident, and they can be certified.
This dormitory was built to ease the problems faced with the lack of accommodation at the Igam Barracks. It took 3 months to build and was supported by the Australian Defence Force through the Defence Corporation program. The dormitory was opened yesterday.
But without the support financially, we would have not got this far.
I'm here really just to acknowledge the hard work of the sappers and those who contributed to its design and to its construction.
My men, you have done well. You have the knowledge. Whatever task is given, I know you will achieve that.
Lieutenant Colonel Wani said as the force increases, more accommodation has to be built and such projects are likely to continue. For the soldiers from the Alpha Company who are engaged in the project, they've been trained and skilled, building their capacity as well as the battalions. Lucy Kopana, National EMTV News, Lae.
Chukai Sports is next. All the details after the break.
Chukai Sports.
Welcome to Chukai Sports. Motor Vehicle Insurance Limited continued its sponsorship towards the PNG National Rugby League competition with a commitment of 250,000 kina in support of the country's national competition, the Digicel Cup.
Rugby league match officials are responsible for fairly enforcing the laws of the game from a neutral point of view and imposing penalties for the deliberate breaches of these laws. Given the vital role of match officials in the development and running of rugby league competitions in the country, Motor Vehicles Insurance Limited has continued with the support of the PNG National Rugby League competition, focusing its support towards referees and match officials. This marks the third year of MVIL's continued support with a 250,000 kina sponsorship package. MVIL sponsorship package will cover all referees, touch judges and timekeepers officiating at the Digicel Cup matches.
PNG Rugby Football League, I think, is probably the best competition that is being organized in the country, despite the existence of all the other sports. Rugby League is the number one sport in the country anyway, so the support that we give is, I think, rightful. And the message that we give out is drive safe and play safe. That's the message, and we've been getting very good coverage from the PNG Rugby League and the competition, the Digicel competition. I'd like to commit the same sponsorship that we've done last year, 250,000 kina to the competition, which is for this all here. It's halfway through, but I know you've run the competition and you've got our message across.
PNG NRLC Chairman Adrian Chow thanked MVIL for their continued support, especially during the social and economic climate surrounding COVID-19 in the country.
Our referees and our officials, they're essential to the development of our game, rugby league, here in Papua New Guinea. They ensure that our game is run according to the rules so that all our players and spectators can enjoy the game. So it's a big boost to the competition, and it's very much appreciated by our referees here, as you see before you, wearing proudly their uniforms with the MVIL logo, with the road safety message, play by the rules, drive by the rules. The financial support allows the competition to train and keep our referees up to date with any rule changes.
Huxley Lovai, Chukai Sports.
Gomora village in Rigo Central has currently become the attention for women folk in Rigo following the launching of its netball tournament. Heading into day 3 of the competition, newcomers of the tournament Kore team have remained unbeaten since day 1. The team is currently leading the B-grade division.
Since the start of the competition, the ladies in yellow have remained unbeaten. The Kore team, participating for the first time in the Rigo netball tournament, gave no chance to one of the tournament's pioneers, the Kwikila netball team.
Ready, you can just buy it, open it and eat it. Straight out of...
Despite the scorching heat of the sun, Kore started off the B-grade division on a high note, swaying past Kwikila in the round 4 match of the tournament. Kore comfortably took an early lead, scoring 10 points to 0. The experienced Kwikila side, who were crowned the champions of 2016, were embarrassed but later regrouped and scored 3 points to add on the tally. But as the clock ticked towards the end of the game, the newcomers notched 5 more points to extend their lead. A 15-3 convincing win placed Kore to take control of the B-grade division in day 3 of the tournament.
Who are making it possible today.
Team captain Costa Philip was happy with the result. She says the team is optimistic to win the remaining games leading to finals.
But today's game was brilliant with a score of first half 10-0. The second half is 15-3. We still have 3 more games to go. We're looking forward to the top and we're going to make it to the finals.
Suli, Chukai Sports.
And that ends Chukai Sports. There were the details after the break.
Chukai Sports. Chukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus. With you always.
A look at the weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow in the southern region. Cloudy and windy with chances of brief showers in Port Moresby and cloudy with a few showers in Popondetta. In the Mamasa region, cloudy with some showers in Lae and brief showers in Manimo. In the New Guinea Islands region, partly cloudy in Lorengau and cloudy with a shower or 2 in Buka. And in the Highlands region, a few rain showers, then morning fog in all centres.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus. With you always.
Before we go, PNG has approved for the use of 4 different COVID-19 vaccines in the country. These vaccines are World Health Organization certified. Prime Minister James Marape confirmed this in Parliament today following a heated argument with the opposition leader Belden Nama, who questioned the government's position in accepting different types of vaccines.
The government approved 1 vaccine.
The opposition leader Belden Nama fired a number of questions to the Prime Minister regarding the COVID-19 vaccine in the country. Among the questions, how many COVID-19 vaccines are we allowing into the country and why?
The government approved 1 vaccine or a number of vaccines for Papua New Guineans who wish to be vaccinated. Are we accepting every vaccine or are we accepting every vaccine that eats this country, like we always do with other products?
The Prime Minister said 4.
As far as I know of, there's only 3 or 4 vaccines that the WHO has certified and sanctioned are being allowed to come into our country to be used.
Another question that has been brewing in many people's mind is vaccination compulsory? The Prime Minister deviated a bit in answering the question, forcing several points of order by the opposition leader.
I'm not demeaning the health of our members of parliament. We members of parliament should be equally responsible for the health of our people in our country. That's my point.
Honorable Opposition Leader, point of order, out of order. You comment to make in past time was sarcastic.
Mr. Speaker, I'm asking 6 plus rhetorics.
And my last point of order,
Asking the Prime Minister to answer my questions and not come up with all the rhetorics in the Parliament.
And eventually answer the question, confirming that it is not compulsory for everyone to be vaccinated. However, companies are at liberty to protect their business and welfare.
Like talk of some vaccine, I stop. Compulsory. Compulsory. Workplace safety is something that employers has a concern. Business law, Prime Minister will decide, especially private sector, or like work too. Companies need to be functional. And if they feel that workplace safety is important, and they decide that this is the way to go, we've told them vaccine is voluntary.
Member for Esa Ala Davis Stevens, during discussions in the afternoon session of Parliament, argued that what the Prime Minister said will create uncertainty in the workplace. While the Parliament debates, citizens are still skeptical of getting vaccinated, concerned of its side effects and the lack of knowledge of what the vaccine will do.
So, we play a clear sick minister, shoot to all team come to, we play for it to ya. And more team, one single team come, we play to me for it, and blast up.
Mi play signal, go la signal, take me plan, all give la marasina, suit ya morai. Na, I walk him suit nothing.
Shamin Poreambe, National EMTV News.
And that ends National EMTV News for today, Wednesday, 11th of August 2021. Until next time, pleasant viewing, be safe and good night.